common question we get on the tour has to do with whether or not Jackson was a good slave owner. What did he think about the institution of slavery? We have to remember Jackson is a self-made man. He does not inherit any of his enslaved people. So that means he's making a conscious decision to go out there and purchase his first human being. That kind of tells us that he really doesn't give it any more thought than what he gives the price of cotton or the weather. This is simply a lifestyle you can have if it's one that you can afford. Now that says Jackson does write home many letters where he says things like, "Treat my black family humanely." He says one willing hand is worth more than two forced hands, and he wants his slaves treated according to that philosophy. We know that he's providing adequate housing, adequate medicinal care, and adequate food rations to his enslaved people. We also know that he likes to preserve the family unit. So if you have children here, chances are you're going to get to watch those children grow into adulthood. But it is not a guarantee. Jackson does buy, sell, and trade over 300 men, women, and children throughout his lifetime. We also know that the mortality rates here at the Hermitage are lower than the national average. So these people are living longer lives. And that says something, right? But does it say that Jackson is a good slave owner, or does it say that he's really good at managing his investment? He's managing his investment, exactly. You have to imagine, if your entire family is here, chances are it's going to anchor you to the plantation, right? Theoretically, Jackson's going to have fewer runaways. But also, can you see where that's creating that idea of a willing hand? If you're not as worried about your family being stripped away from you, well, then you might be a little bit more focused on the work that you're demanded of. Now, if everything was roses and rainbows, of course Jackson would not have had any runaways, but he does. He has just as many as everybody else. So I think that speaks even louder. So on one hand, you have Jackson saying, "Treat my black family humanely." But on the other hand, you do see that he is ruling through violence and brutality in order to get what he demands from his enslaved people. And for that reason, we refer to Jackson as a typical slave owner.